let's get to what my topic is for today, or at least in small part. So last Friday, I was doing the Red Line with Steve the Dean Williams, and we had a guy in the chat who kept telling us that game was archaic, that it was somehow outdated. He kept telling us that game isn't necessary to attract women, and that all it takes is money, looks, and status. Okay. Now, Steve and I let him know very vehemently that this clearly is not the case, and that he's definitely got some growing up to do in the way of experience. But, and to be honest with you, the guy was probably 20, 21 years old, so we tried to cut him some slack. But we let him know that at the end of the day, game really does trump all. But that conversation really got me thinking, because a lot of guys out here have that same mentality as far as women go. They believe that money, looks, and status get you the girls. Now, money, looks, and status get you more opportunities with women than if you don't have them. But don't get it twisted. They all still get played by girls. Again, these guys say money, looks, and status are all you need, but then they wonder why, when they get money and get ripped, why they're still getting played by girls. Donovan, I got rich, I got ripped, and I look good. Why are girls still playing me? Now, don't get it twisted, guys. Hot guys and rich guys, they get cheated on like everybody else. But the ones who do not get cheated on have game, irregardless of what you look like, what your status is like, what your money is like, what your body looks like. Which leads me to the next question I was asked during a recent consultation, which is, why exactly is game necessary? Now, first off, let's get a couple of things straight here. Because red pill vernacular has been kind of a victim of its own success, I would say, over the past few years. And here's what I mean. In the manosphere, we use terms like the wall, the carousel, and so forth to explain what certain concepts mean. We kind of have a language all our own. And mainstream media seems to be kind of picking up on that. At least that's what it seems like. Well, most of the most ubiquitous words that we like to use in terms of red pill vernacular are alpha male, beta male, and game. And the reason why we use these words is because the definitions are longer than the words. Let me explain. The word alpha, the way we use the word alpha in the manosphere, it's shorthand for a man who is a leader, who's in good shape, who has it together, is socially dominant, and exudes masculine dominance all the time. Now, as it happens, these characteristics are highly attractive to women, which gives them plenty of opportunities with women, as I said before. The word beta, the way we use it in the manosphere, that is short term for the polar opposite of an alpha. Beta males are not leaders. They have the dad bods, or they're in bad shape. They let women walk all over them. They don't have any backbone or masculinity. These traits, again, are highly unattractive or unarousing to women. Now, I'm sure there are plenty of other definitions of alpha and beta that don't match up 100% with exactly what I said, but by and large, this is what alpha and beta mean. But rather than saying that guy is a leader, he has that shows masculine dominance, blah 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 blah, we just use the word alpha because 178 less syllables. We just use it to save time when we talk about red pill topics. Same with beta male. We don't say, well, that is a man who does not have it. We use these words alpha, beta, and game, again, as shorthands for these definitions, which are pretty much universally understood by people who say them and the people who listen to them. And this is red pill, blue pill, or whatever. It doesn't really matter. So now we come back to the guy who kept telling us that game was archaic, that game is obsolete, and that men don't need to learn how to create sexual attraction with women on purpose because women aren't receptive to game anymore. It's old, it's archaic, it's obsolete. Well, the reason that guy and a lot of other guys share his mentality is because he thinks that women have changed, and in his defense, he's only half right. Today's women, don't get me wrong, today's women require airtight game in order to create sexual attraction compared to in the past when all you really needed was a good job, a stable lifestyle, be in decent shape, and have the ability to provide for her and her potentially future children, right? Now, the reason for that, the reason you have to have airtight game these days is because of number two, which is women are now aware of all of their options. Back in the day, if a pretty girl lived in a small town, she was only aware of the men in her own town and nowhere else because she was unaware of men outside her town. Now, those girls usually ended up with the guy who had the highest value, okay? But because of the internet, women are now aware of how many would commit to them, and now they have access to all of these men in the palm of their hands. Understand this, gentlemen, and I want you to understand this and listen very closely. Women have always had a lot of options, but the internet has now made them aware of it. As a result, it is much more challenging to get and keep their attention. Women are different in those regard. You need much tighter game, and that is because they're aware of all of their options that they're fully aware of. But here's where he's off the mark. And Nutso keeps saying game only works if you're pre-selected. No, pre-selection gives you more opportunities with women. That's all it does. Just because a guy gets opportunities with women doesn't mean he has game. Okay, listen, money, looks, and status do get men opportunities. There is no getting around that. But as I said earlier, good-looking men, high-status men, rich men, they get cheated on all the time. Their wives and girlfriends cheat on them and leave them all the time. The reason why they do this is because they do not have game. That's all there is to it. So listen, if you're a guy who endorses that, that's fine. I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. If you want to continue living your life like that, that's cool with me. You don't have to use the information. I'm not mad at you, but I'm just here to let you know you're wrong. Now, here's why he's off the mark, okay? What girls respond to hasn't changed, okay? Girls have always been sexually attracted to the same characteristics. Okay, they've always been sexually attracted to traditional masculinity, a domineering personality, a good physique, a no-given attitude, men who call them on their bull. Men have always been sexually attractive to men who are unapologetic. Okay, these things have never changed about them. Yes, feminism has tried to reprogram women, right? Feminism has tried to convince women to be sexually attracted to men who are unattractive, to be sexually attracted to men who have dad bods, to be sexually attracted to men who let them act however they want to, who buy into feminism's definition of masculinity, okay? But it hasn't succeeded. Females today are still drawn to the same traits associated with sexually attractive men, and that's where that young fella fell short, okay? Okay, yeah, listen, okay, social media and dating apps have inflated the self-worth of low-quality females. Yes, social media and dating apps have fives out here acting like they're tens. No, I get all that. There's no doubt about it. But what's happened is an evolution in the sexual marketplace. The platforms have changed, okay? The circumstances under which men and women meet and date have changed. The accessibility has changed, and the landscape of the sexual marketplace has definitely evolved because of these changes. But guess what, guys? There are still men out here getting laid on the regular. Why? Because they evolved. Okay? Listen, we recognized our surroundings and we evolved with it. Game hasn't changed. The strategy required has evolved, and those who do not evolve, they get left behind. And then they come into chat rooms and message boards like mine and say, there's no such thing as game doesn't matter, money, looks, and status, blah, 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 blah. Gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, it's survival of the fittest in the jungle. Okay? If the jungle environment evolves, any given species had a choice. Either adapt to the environment or evolve and die. That's it. Okay? Well, that's what's happened to a lot of guys out here who complain about the sexual marketplace. These guys have failed to evolve with their surroundings and are getting left behind like Nutso. Okay? And because they're not aware of the constant evolution of the sexual marketplace, they think that the only men laid are rich, good-looking, and high status. Knowing that most men aren't like this, rich, good-looking, and have high status, they assume that game, which we all know is intentional sexual strategy, is no longer necessary to attract women, so they check out and say game is archaic. The environment has changed, but the game hasn't. The sexual marketplace has evolved. Women have not. Okay? And as a man, you still need to exhibit traditionally masculine traits, masculine characteristics, to be sexually attractive to women. And if you can't figure out how to do that in today's sexual marketplace, even though there is literally an ocean, no pun intended, an ocean of free content out there on the internet detailing step by step on how to be successful with today's women in all of these evolved environments, then that's on you. Yes, the things you have to do today are different. Yes, you have to have a different brand of game to be successful with women. But if you don't take the advice of men who are out here doing it, that's a you problem. Listen, this isn't a game problem. This isn't a woman problem. This is a you problem. So at the end of the day, don't hate the player, hate the game. This is survival of the fittest. You can either choose to evolve or choose to get left behind. What you don't get to do is complain about it.